everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing all of the series that I'm currently in the middle of. Okay, so I'm just going to start with some of the stats. This is a little bit incorrect because I'm going to have to maybe remove some because I'm not sure if they're being still completed. So some of these stats are might be a little bit wrong or might change in the futures, but as of now I have read 51% of the books that's on my series tracker. I have read 96 and 92 are unread. I own 38 and I have 150 that I don't own. I have 40 series technically, but like I said, it's showing 51, but I counted the ones that I will for sure be continuing, and it's actually 40. And I've only completed 8 this year, and out of the 40 series I can only currently complete 18. Those are the ones that are finished or are finishing soon that I will actually be able to that I will actually be able to completely read, which is a little crazy that I have that many unfinished series. That's a little concerning. Maybe I should stop reading series as they first come out. But in total I have 189 books I'd have to read to finish this series tracker off. There's no way that's happening this year. My goal is to get the number of series down by half. So I want to read at least 20, and I've already read 8, so really not that much to go. And I think I might do a series takedown video for YouTube where I can just every so often I'll read a bunch of the ones that are I have on my list and just one in video and then take you guys along with me. So I feel the best way of doing this is I'm gonna scroll back up. So I have this tracker that I'm using is by my friend Ali. She sells them on Etsy. I'll have it linked. But I have them listed by sagas, trilogies, duologies, other. And this other section is the ones where I either don't know if it's gonna be being completed, I don't know how many books are gonna be in the series, or just I'm just not able to put it in another category. And then I have the manga section, which I only have 2 there. So that is how I organize my series TBR. I think the easiest way of doing this is that, because if I do it any other way, it's gonna be super long because I do have quite a bit to go through. I think the easiest way of doing this is I'm gonna tell you the title of the series, the books that I've read in the series, how many books I have left, the genre, maybe a very short description of how I feel about the series. I'll show the cover of the first book and then we'll move along, because if I did a detailed description of what each book was about, I would be here literally hours. So we are going to do this in the most concise and effective manner. So I think I'm going to start with my sagas, so we'll go left to right. So my sagas are this category right here. These are any books that have more than 4 in them. And the first one I have listed is Priest. I have read the first one, and then I have 4 more to go. 2 of them are novellas. And I read this series about 2 years ago, the first book 2 years ago, and I just have not picked it up for some odd reason. I don't know. It was a good book. I really enjoyed it. It's it's smut, pretty much. It's a smutty romance, really not much else. But I did hear that one of the later books is gay, which honestly should be my biggest motivator to read it, but I just haven't. So it is completed though, so I can read them all in one go when I desire. And I do own the first book. I don't own the rest of them. And then the next one I have is Dark Olympus. I have read, I think, half of the books, almost all of them. Yeah, there's 10 in the series and I have read 7. The newest one comes out very soon, or maybe already did. I don't know. I'm not super caught up with this, the timeline of these books. I just kind of read them when I feel like it. So I really enjoy this series. This is a smutty retelling of Greek mythology. So the first one is Hades and Persephone, and then each one's different god and goddess and everything like that. I really enjoyed them. I think they get better with each book. My favorite is actually Wicked Heart. It's so good, but I don't think I've given any of them below 4 stars ever. And I'm really excited to see where the author goes with this series. I just love the representation that they put into it. So I have 3 left, and I don't know if all 3 of them are coming out this year. Maybe it will be next year. Yeah, I think next year would make more sense because I know they don't get released very often. And then the next one I have is Sins of Zodiac. This is the newest series by the Twisted Sisters. They also write like Zodiac Academy. This is their new series. It's set in the exact same world but with different characters. I read Neverkeep. It was so good. And originally the second book was going to come out in April, but I think it got pushed till September, which is fine. Like, I don't mind waiting. This is like a academic fantasy, like kind of romance. Like, there's fae and like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that, and they essentially go to the school to get trained, and that's kind of the gist of this series and Zodiac Academy. They have very similar characteristics, but they have like different characters that are like hopefully following different journeys, so I'm really excited to see. And then I have The Chronicles of Castelline, which is the newest series that Cassandra Clare is doing. I read the first one, and I'm currently reading the second one, but I'm really not loving the second one. And this series, I might not be finishing. I don't know. We'll see. But I do own it, so I can actually go ahead and check the market. This, I think, is supposed to be 4 books, so I'd have 2 left if I do complete this. It's okay. It's just like a regular fantasy, honestly. So scrolling down, the next one that I have to complete is the Paladin series. The first one is Whistleblower. I really liked it. It's like a smutty romance, kind of darkish. I think the main male is like an assassin. So I'd have 3 more books to continue. This is one of those romances where I enjoyed it, but if I complete it, will be very much dependent on how the other books are. Like, if I read the second one and it's not that good, I probably wouldn't move forward because I don't feel like a strong connection to it. Like, I have to finish it. This is one of those, like, I could finish it. Like, the second one's been out for a couple of months and I just have not picked it up. And then Bridgerton, which I love Bridgerton, but these are the kind of books that I read just like when I need something to read. That's no thought. So I only really pick these up when I'm in like a slump, or like when I want something really fast, or like I have to be in a certain kind of, I'm not a mood reader, but like Bridgerton very much is like not a book that I'm rushing to get to. Like, if it's a complete series, I can finish it whenever, but I'm not rushing to finish it. Like, I'm just enjoying my time. I've read the first 3, and I love them. They just get better and better. I'm really excited to read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And then next I have The Lux, which is, funny enough, I actually thought the series was a fantasy series, and it's not. It's a historical fiction. It's giving like Bridgerton, but like with more scandals, which is so funny that I have it like back to back. But I read the first one. It was good. Then I have 3 more books in the series to read. I just finished Thorn last month. And then the next one would be Dirty Air. I read Throttled. I don't know why these aren't awkward. I don't know why those are not marked. I read Throttled. Lauren Asher's writing is so hit or miss for me that this is another one of those series where I may or may not continue. Like, the first one was good, but I could easily be convinced to not read further. And then Chestnut Springs, I read the first book. There is 4 more to go, I believe. I love these books. This is a really good romance author, and I definitely plan to be finishing all of these as they come out. I need to get caught up. And then I have the Haven River Ranch series. I read Crosswoods. This is by Daphne Perry. Really good mystery romance kind of books. Sunlight's been out. I just have not picked it up. That's going to be like a recurring thing that I say in this video. It hasn't been a priority, but I feel like it's going to be good. So I think there might be one other book after that. I'm really not sure, but it's there. And then the next one is Infatuated Fae. I've read the first 3. I'm obsessed with these. I've made a video talking about Where Did You Go. Like, they're so good, and I believe that there's one more after this, and I'm so mad that it's one more because I thought the 3rd one was the last one. I was so wrong. There is definitely at least one more coming out. And then we have The Windy City. These are fun. This is another one of those series where I'm not in any kind of rush to get to it. These are just little fun, silly romances that I'll pick up when I want like a fun romance to get through pretty fast. So I'm in no rush to get to these. I might finish it by the end of the year, I might not. But I read the first one, enjoyed it, and there's 4 more in the series. And then I have the Severed Signet. I read Severed by Vengeance the end of last year. It was good. I don't actually remember a lot of it, which might not be a very good sign. Like, I had to actually look up on Storygraph to see if I actually even read this one, and I did, but I really don't remember much of it. So I might have to reread Severed by Vengeance before I go into the next one. But there's 3 other books in the series. I think it just got finished this year. And then we have Rogue X Aria. This is one of those authors that I found on TikTok, but the first book was actually really surprisingly good, so I definitely will be continuing. And there's 3 more in the series, I believe. These are all what I found on Storygraph. Like, this might be incorrect information, like if the author hasn't announced how many books will be in it. So like, don't flame me if these are incorrect. And then the last one in my sagas is Rose Hill. I read Wild Love. I really enjoyed it. I did not understand the hype for this author until I did, and now I'm obsessed. Like, I definitely will be reading anything this author puts out. So it's so good. So those are my sagas. Now under my trilogies. I don't have a whole lot of trilogies, and thankfully a lot of them are being finished this year or already did get finished, and I've been able to complete them. So we're going to start with Fallen Gods. The 3rd book is coming out this year, I think just in a couple of months. No, next month, I think. So God Killer, I loved. Sunbringer, I loved. I'm so very excited for I'm so excited for Faithbreaker. This is a fantasy series, like it has to do with gods and stuff, and just multiple POVs, just so very good. I would definitely read. If you want like a good like fantasy series by a debut author, this author does such a phenomenal job. And then the next one is Hurricane Wars. I just finished the 2nd book last month. Loved. I believe there's only 1 book left. This is another like fantasy enemies to lover. And then I finished these ones. So the next one would be Feybound. The 2nd book just came out. I just read it. It was good. It is better than the first one, which makes me scared that the 3rd one might be a miss, because I always feel like 2nd books are so much better than the other ones. It's like a 2nd book syndrome for me. I really love the 2nd one, and then I go to the 3rd one, then it's like, oh, this is not as good. So the 3rd one will be out next year, hopefully, and hopefully it will be just as good as the 2nd one. And then Shatter Me, I believe this is going to be a trilogy. The 1st book of the new series is coming out in April. It's called Shatter Me, The New Republic. So the next one will be Powerless trilogy. The 3rd one comes out next month. So many of these are going to be finished next month. I'm so excited. Powerless is like a Hunger Games-esque like championship fantasy, enemies to lovers kind of, very good. I know a lot of people, it kind of reminds them of like Hunger Games, and like the main character kind of reminds them of Aaron Warner, which I kind of agree. He's so hot. And then the next one would be the Knock 'Em Out series. I just read the 2nd one last month. This 3rd one, I'm gonna finish it because it's the 3rd one in the series, but like I said in my last video, I don't think I'm gonna ever read anything by Lucy Score again. Her books are just way too long. And then Dark Rise, I really enjoyed. There's gonna be 3 books, I believe. I don't own the 2nd one, but I want to get it so that I can annotate it, because I annotated the 1st one, so I want to be able to do that. And the 3rd one has no release date, no release title, no nothing. I have no idea about this one, of when it might come out, but I'm very itching for it to come out, and that's kind of why I haven't read Dark Arrow yet, because I'm like, if there's no time of when the 3rd one will be out, I don't want to read the 2nd one too soon and then have to reread it when it comes out. So that one is like on my list, but it's like I'm waiting for the 3rd book to get a release date, which I'm pretty sure it still hasn't. And then it'd be the Belladonna. Belladonna is so good. It's like a gothic fantasy, and I know a lot of people didn't absolutely love it, and it is technically finished, but there's a holiday novella that's coming out in September, I think. So technically I could go ahead and read this and then just read the novella when it comes out, but I think that I might wait closer to the timeline of the novella so that I still have those characters fresh in my mind and I can just like enjoy the novella as it is. So then the 2nd to last one would be the Middle Mist trilogy. I've talked about this one quite a bit. I read the 2nd one very recently, and I enjoy. It's not my favorite thing by Claire Lagarde, but it's like, it's doing it well. It's a fantasy, typical fantasy. I believe it's the 3rd one is about the oldest sister, middle sister, because each book's about a different sister, and I'm just really looking forward to it, and I'm kind of curious to see if the next one will be gay, like LGBT wise. And then the last of my trilogies is The Sacred Stones. I've read Dawn of Onyx, the first of the month. It was so good. It's a completed series. I could literally read it right now, and I don't know why I haven't. I've been meaning to, but I kind of want to own the books and I don't. But it's like a Shadow Daddy, like enemies to lovers fantasy. It's my niche genre of like Shadow Daddies, enemies to lovers. So those are my trilogies. And then I have very few duologies. We have the Tempest of Blood and Tea. I love this author. Tempest of Tea was so good. I know a lot of people didn't love it, but I loved it. It was vampires and it had a heist and it was just so good. The second book I thought was coming out in February, but it got delayed, and I think until September. I'm not sure of when its new release date is, but it's like one of my highly anticipated reads of the year, so it definitely will be getting finished this year. And then the next one is Cemetery Boys. I read Cemetery Boys I think 2 years ago, and I have been like patiently waiting for the author to announce a second book, and they finally did the first of the year, and I was like giddy about it. I was like, ooh, like so excited. So like I'm so ready for this book to come out so that I can read it and finish this series. I believe it's going to be a duology. I might be wrong. And then the last duology that I have to read is a Saga of the Unfated. The first book was A Fate Inked in Blood. It was so good. I got it last year, very early last year I read it, and this A Curse Carved in Bone comes out this year? This month? I don't know when it comes out. August? It definitely comes out this year. I just can't remember the exact month, but very highly rating for this book. It's gonna be so good. So that's it for my duologies. The other ones I have to explain are the others and the manga. The manga will be pretty straightforward. I'm skipping over to the manga one just because the other section is going to take some explaining. So I'm going to go ahead and do these. I only have two. I have Ouran High School Host Club and I have Fruits Baskets. Both of those, I watched the anime and I was like, I literally need more of this. They're both so good. And obviously, Ouran High School Host Club only got one season, which is a tragedy. It deserves more. And if I want the complete ending of the series, I'm going to have to read the manga. So it's on my list. I read the first 5 last year. And they were really quick reads, but I didn't want to buy them, and I was getting them from my library, and the wait list on my library is so long, and they don't even have all of them. And like the ones they don't have is so random. It's like they'll have 9, but they won't have 6, and it's like it's been like a bit of a struggle to find all of them. And then Fruits Basket, I love so much. It's one of my favorite animes, and I own the first 5. I have not read them. I do plan on reading them, and I think April I'm going to read them with a friend of mine. I'm going to also buy the rest of them probably in April. So on High School Host Club, it is, like I said, it's about a host club, but it's about a girl who is pretending to be a boy, and she joins this club for boys, and then they find out that she's not a boy, but then she gets to stay in it, and it's just so entertaining and so much like kiddish drama that it's like addicting to watch, and I'm excited to be able to read it so I can get that hit of all that scandalism for teenagers pretty much. And then Fruits Basket is about like the zodiacs, like each of them like represent a different zodiac. So there's like a cat, there's a rabbit, there is a rat. So like you have to, and it's very traumatizing, y'all. Like that's why I've not read them yet, because I'm worried about how sad they're gonna make me be. But I'm excited, I guess. Excited for the pain that I'm gonna put myself through to read those. So we're gonna go back to the other tab. These are gonna take some explaining, because if they're in this tab, that means I either don't know what's happening with them, or I don't know how many books are gonna be in the series. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into this, and this will be like the last little bit of my series tracker. So the first one, it is in yellow because I don't know what's happening with the series. So I read the first 3. The first one is called Dear Monster Claus. These are like smutty romances based off of like holidays. So obviously like Christmas, Valentine's Day. This one was just about summer. They were so good. I love them. I've given them all 5 stars. And then we were supposed to get a Halloween one, and then it just never came out. Like it never did. Like it was supposed to come out in September. I waited, I kept checking, and it never came out. And now the release day is like not even listed anywhere, and the author has said absolutely nothing. Like has not made a post about what's happening with this book. So I don't know what's happening with it. Like I don't know if it's going to even get finished anymore, but I really love it, and I hope they do finish it, because I will gladly support them. But like there has been no visibility into what's happening. Like the author hasn't posted about it. There's not been like any kind of update on Goodreads. It's just like the book was supposed to come out and then it didn't come out. So I don't know if like they missed their deadline or something happened in their personal life or just, yeah, I don't know, but I'm a little sad about that one. And then The Prince of the Sun is the next one. This one is only listed as having 2 books, but there is 7 sins, so I'm anticipating that there's gonna be at least 4 more books, because obviously the Kingdom of the Wicked is about the one prince, so obviously we wouldn't need to have a book in this series about him because he has a whole trilogy. So I'm assuming there's gonna at least be 4 other books, so that there's 6 for this, and then you can go read the trilogy for the 7th prince. But these are based on the Princes of Hell. They're so spicy, so good. Not very much heavy on plot, so it's kind of serious. Like if you want plot, don't go for these. Like they're definitely more for like the romance and the smut. But I don't know, I like the author has not released any information about the next book, so I have no idea when it's coming out, what it will be called, how many will actually end up being in the series. But that's why it's on this list. And then the next one is The Royals and Romance. I read The Nightmare Before Christmas and in December of last year. It was so cutesy. These are another series that's based off of like holiday romances. The first one was Christmas and Halloween, and the second one is coming out this month, or just came out this month. It's called Go Luck Yourself, and it's like St. Patrick's Day and Christmas. I don't know how many books are going to be in the series. I have no idea. Like I googled it, the author hasn't mentioned anything about how many books will be in it. And then I have The Vicious Fae, which this is like something I found just randomly on Kindle Unlimited, but I actually ended up really liking it. It's not even long. I think it's like 130 pages. So good. And then I saw that they released The Prince of the Frost last year, and I missed it, so I'm going to get caught up. But I couldn't find any mention of like if there'll be a 3rd book, and I haven't read it, so I don't know if it's like the true ending, or like if the ending was a cliffhanger to know if there's going to be a 3rd book. So that's there. And then When the Stars Come Out, this is on hold, I believe. This is by Scarlett St. Clair. It is like some kind of retelling of a love story. I don't remember which one it was, but I really enjoyed it. But I read it before realizing that it was on hold. Like it had been on hold for a while, and I didn't know this. So I read it, and now it's been like probably 2 years since I read it, and there's no update. Like the author has just said, oh yeah, it's on hold. But I don't know at this point if they're gonna write it eventually, or if it's just kind of like a scraped idea. So that's why it's in yellow. And we're getting through these, I promise. I only have a few left. Maple Hollow. This is a Halloween. These 3 right here are all Halloween based. But Maple Hollow, the first one's called Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist. I thought it was really cute. I know it didn't have very much love to it, but I thought it was really cute. And it's listed as being a series on Storygraph, but we don't know, like, there's not a book 2 listed yet. I don't know how many books are gonna be in it. But I definitely will be reading. So, and then the next one is Nightmare Acres, same situation. It's listed as being a series, but a book 2 is not listed. Nowhere is there a mention of how many books are going to be in it. This is like a Halloween. It's like people go to Halloween festivals, but it's actually ran by the like dead people and demons and vampires, and they get people to go there and then they slaughter them. So it was like kind of gruesome, but also had smut in it. So I'm very excited to see how they'll continue the series. And then The Witches of the Pleasant Grove. This is another really cute Halloween story. There is a 3rd one coming out this year called Bewitchingly Yours, but I don't know if there's going to be a 4th one or if that's the last book, because the author hasn't really been particularly clear on that. And then the last series that I have to read is Heartstrings, which the first book is called First Time Caller. This is the new series that B.K. Borison is doing, and she's already announced that the next one's going to be called And Now Back to You. I'm not sure when that one's coming out, and I don't know if there's going to be more than the 2nd one. There might be a 3rd one, there might not be. So these are all the series that I have to complete. Yep, just back to me now. So that is my series tracker spreadsheet. Like I said, my friend Ellie sells them. If you're interested in buying one, they're pretty cheap. I think $10. I think they're like $10, something like that. I really recommend them. I'd even be willing to like go through my entire spreadsheet at some point and show you guys how I organize it and how I utilize it, because I didn't used to be a spreadsheet girly, but now I'm a huge spreadsheet girly. Like I actually like every tab that I actually utilize every single tab that Allie puts in it, and then I actually end up adding more tabs to it. Like I have become such a spreadsheet lover. So like if you're someone that like wants to use a spreadsheet but you don't know where to start, or like you don't know how to really utilize it, I am so interested in just like going through what I do in my spreadsheet. But I don't create these. These are not my creation. I just add all of my silly, goofy reading stuff to it and make it my own. But I thought like just going through my series tracker would be the best place to start with this. I really need to read some more books off of this list. It's getting a bit chaotic. And this is not even considering the series that are on my bookshelf that I haven't started. This is only series that I have actively started reading. Like, I've at least read the first book. There are series on my shelf that I haven't even started reading yet. So as soon as I start those, they get added to this list. So I need to, one, do better about buying series. Like, I should probably start buying just standalones so this list doesn't go up. And I really should start actually going through this list and prioritizing them, because my birthday is next month and I'm gonna be buying 26 books. And if I buy 26 books in a series, this number's gonna be in the 60s. And then I know a couple of them are on my shelf, they're a series, so really I could have like 70 books on this list if I'm not careful. So I do think that I'm gonna try to be more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, more aware of the books that I'm buying, and I'm not just buying a book and then not even realizing it's in the series or like how long it's in. So I'm gonna try to buy, if I do buy a series, I'm gonna try to buy a series that is completed or close to being completed. No more buying of a first book in a series and then having to wait years to complete it. That's like the worst part of all of this, is that so many of these are not going to be finished for years, so they're not going to be able to get off of this list. Like I said, I think I can only finish 18. This feels like a beast that I can't really tackle. So I think the best way of tackling this is for me to start doing better about what books I'm buying and series that I'm starting. So I think I'm going to take the initiative for myself and stop just blaming it on oh, well, I can't help it, the authors take so long to finish them. I think I need to take some responsibility and be like, no, May, stop buying a series that's not even completed yet, and then you can avoid this issue. So this is it. This is the video. I know, pretty simple, straightforward. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. But thank you so much for watching. And I don't have my cow, but I do have my frog. I don't have a name for the frog either, but thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.